The APS prepares a team for professional Scrum by really doubling down on those core fundamentals of Scrum. You must have working usable product at the end of every iteration, including the first. If you don't, we're not at, there's no agility there if we don't have working usable product, right? Because we need to be able to test and get feedback from that. What else is really important from the APS? So many. One of, I think, the most powerful features of the APS, which is why it actually is super effective for existing teams as well, like teams that are already doing Scrum, is that level set of what is and is not Scrum, right? So quite often in our organization, we pick up Scrum, we learn Scrum, we've been doing Scrum for a little bit within our organization, and it picks up a bunch of barnacles. Don't know, will I go with a sailing metaphor? Yeah, let's go with the sailing metaphor. My brother sails. He does races across the channel in the UK from England over to France. I think he's come second once, but you know, these are really, really heavy races. And the thing, anything that goes in the water that slows down the boat, that slows down the stream of water, causes drag, right? And even the smallest amount of drag can severely impact over a race the impact of your place. And barnacles are the bane of ships, not ships, sailboats, ships. You can tell I'm not an expert sailor, right? But the barnacles get on the side and then they cause drag. That's what happens when you've been doing Scrum for a while in your organization. It picks up a bunch of barnacles, right? Stuff that gets stuck onto it at some point because you needed to solve a problem, because your organization didn't do things in a way that was as effective as it could be, so we have to stick this thing into Scrum. Maybe that thing was user stories or story points, or maybe that thing was, I don't know, we're going to have a burn down, or it could be some other report that your organization really, really, really wanted, so you had to capitulate for. And then it's just kind of stuck there. And maybe it's outlived its usefulness. But we as a team think of it as part of that overall package, because when we say Scrum within our organization, that's what we mean, the whole package, including all of the barnacles that we've had attached to our process. So the APS is a great place to come and scrape off those barnacles, right? What are the things that are and are not core to Scrum? Because everything else is a choice. So how do we disambiguate the choices that we've made from Scrum itself, so that perhaps there's other choices that are maybe more effective now than they were before? So there's a key, one of my favorite exercises at the end of the class is where I kind of have a choice and I let teams decide, the groups decide. But they can either do a kind of getting started, because we're not doing Scrum and we want to figure out how do we get started doing Scrum in our organization. And then there's a kind of barnacle exercise, right? Which is how do we improve, like a little retrospective on our implementation of Scrum to start at least identifying the barnacles that we have in our Scrum process within our organization, and then figuring out how to address them a little bit. Right, that's a great exercise. And if we do it privately within organizations, there's an additional exercise that I run, which is the people in the class create an organizational change backlog. Like, what needs to be in an organizational change backlog to make Scrum successful or more successful or valid within our organization. And really it's an Agile transformation backlog from the people who are actually doing the work, right? What are their problems going to be? And hopefully there's leadership available who are able to take ownership of that and take it forward. So we do that mainly in the private classes, not so much in the public ones, right? Because it doesn't make sense if you get 20 people from 20 different companies. That is how the APS effectively prepares teams to be professional Scrum teams. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow and subscribe. I always reply to comments And if you want to have a chat about this or anything else, Agile, Scrum, or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through Naked Agility.